Okay, today we're going to look at word problem practice. And first up, we have to read the problem, get an understanding of what the question is asking before we can launch in and try to get an answer. It says Bob cooks a turkey for, it takes him 4 hours and 35 minutes. And then Bob also cooks soup. Now for the soup, it takes him 1 hour and 20 minutes. The question says, how much longer does Bob cook the turkey than the soup? How much longer does Bob cook the turkey than the soup? So we have the turkey takes 4 hours and 35 minutes. The soup takes 1 hour and 20 minutes. How much longer would suggest that we need to subtract? If it said how much total did it take them to cook the soup and the turkey, the word "and" in there would mean that we would have to add. But this says how much longer does it take them to cook the turkey than the soup? And so we subtract, and we get subtract the minutes first. 35 minus 20, it's big enough so you can subtract, you don't have to borrow. 15 minutes, and then 4 minus 1, we have 3 hours. And so the answer is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Okay. Next problem. Mr. Stevens bought 15 books for his store. 15 books. Now, he paid $11 for each book. $11 for one book. Okay, so let's figure out how much the total amount of money he paid. What we have to do is multiply, because we take $15. Oh no, I'm sorry. Jeez. 15 books, and the cost is $11 for each book. And so this way the books cancel out and give us the amount in dollars. Okay, 15 times 11, 5, 1, and then 5, 1, we get $165. That's how much he paid. Then, what he's going to do is, he's then going to sell these books, all of them, for $25 each. Okay. Let's see the total amount of money he sold the books for. All 15 books at a price of $25 per book. The books cancel out. They'll give us in dollars. We're going to multiply, and we'll take 25 times 15. 5, carry the 2. That's 10 and 12. And then we have a 5 and a 2. 5, a 7, and a 3. So $375 is how much he sold the books for. He paid $165. He sold them for $375. He made money. And the question is, what is the difference between the total amount of money he sold the books for and the total amount of money he paid for the books? That's the question. So the difference, the word difference would be to subtract. Take the 375, subtract the 165, The units is dollars, and it's $210. That's the answer to the question. That's the amount of money, basically, that he got to put in his pocket. He paid $165. He sold them for $375. This is the answer. This is the difference. That's how much money he made. It's called profit. This is called cost. This is called revenue. And this is called profit. Mr. Stevens has $220 in his pocket, and he's going to purchase some books. And the books cost $8 each, including the tax. How many books can Mr. Stevens buy? He's got $220 in his pocket, and each book costs $8. So one book cost $8. And so we're going to end up dividing. We take the $220, we divide it by 8 to get the total number of books. We're trying to figure out basically how many groups of 8 are there in 220. So we divide, and we see that 8 goes into 22 twice. Subtract. 8 goes into 67 times. We subtract, and this here is the remainder. Okay, so there are 27 groups of 8. He can buy 27 books with that much money. Now he'll have some money left over. There's a remainder, and so we take 27 and we times it by 8, and we see that he spent $216. He could buy 27 books at a cost of $216, and he'll have $4 left over. 220 minus the 216, $4. Not because this 4 is the remainder, just because the way the problem worked out. Okay, so yeah, he'll have $4 left over. So the answer to the question is how many books can he? So here's the answer. He can buy 27 books. There's the answer, and this is just extra here, but it answers the question. All right. Bill weighs 10 rocks during science class. The rocks weigh a total of 293.8 grams. Each rock weighs about the same. What's the closest estimate of the weight of one rock? Okay. He has 10 rocks, and the rocks weigh a total of 293.8 grams. We want to know how much each rock weighs. And so we divide. We take the 293.8 and divide it by 10 to figure out, basically, once again, how many groups of 10 are there in 293.8. The long way to do it would be to long divide. Goes in there twice. Goes in there 9 times. Put the decimal point up here. Bring down the 8. Goes in there 3 times. Add on a 0. Bring that down. and then it goes in there 8 times with no remainder. So each rock weighs 29.38 grams. Okay. And so what is the closest estimate to the weight of each rock? That's about 30 grams. Okay. If each rock weighed 10 grams, then that would be only 100 total. If each rock weighed 20 grams, then that would be only 200 total. So we can take these answers and times by 10 for the total number of rocks, and we can see that the 293 is closest to the 300, so the answer is C. Four boys each paid money for a new basketball. Jake paid 2/16. Mark paid 1/4. Pete paid 1/2, and Roy paid 1/8. The question we're worried about is who paid the most? Who paid the greatest amount of money? And so when comparing fractions, it helps to have them all with the same denominator. So 16 and 4 and 2 and 8, we're going to have the denominator of 16 be the common denominator. A number that goes into, the number that all these guys go into would be 16. So Jake has 2/16. I need to turn this into 16ths. How do I turn 4 into 16? I times it by 4. So Mark has 4/16. Mark has twice as much as Jake. How do I turn this into 16ths? I times by 8. Do the same to the numerator. Wow, Pete has 8/16. He's got double what Mark has. How do I turn this into 16ths? Times by 2. Do the same thing to the numerator. And Roy has the same thing as Jake, 2/16. When comparing fractions, if they're all the same denominator, then you just see who has the largest numerator. And that would be Pete. Pete has 8/16. And so Pete would be the one who has the greatest amount. He paid the greatest amount. He paid half the money. 8/16 of the money. During the past 2 weeks, a total of 378 cartons of juice were sold in the school cafeteria in the past 2 weeks. Each carton cost 75 cents. $0.75 for one carton. The question is, well, which expression can be used to find the total cost of the juice? Basically, we're going to multiply. We take the 378, we multiply it by 0.75, and that would give us the total cost in dollars. Well, that's all this question was asking, and so we choose letter C based off of that. Sometimes in the problem, you have information that you don't use. They didn't say each week, they just said which expression could be used to find the total cost of the juice that was sold. So we assume it means over the whole period. And so this is not needed. The fact that it was 2 weeks. So these answers that involve 2, there's no need for that. Okay, they don't want us to get the exact answer, but we can. 378, 0.75. We can multiply. 0 carry the 4. We'll have 39. We'll have 18. 8 times 7 is 56. That becomes a 5. 49 plus 5 is 54. 21 plus 5 is 26. And then we're times it by 0. If you want to put those in there, you can. So we get a 0, we get a 15, we get a 13, we get an 8 and a 2. But don't forget that we have to move the decimal point over how many places? Well, it depends on how many decimal points are in the problem. There's only one decimal point, and it needs to be moved over twice. And so they are going to, the expression, the number is $283.50. That's what they're going to make. They didn't ask us that in this problem. Okay. Gym volunteers at an animal shelter 3.5 hours every week. 3.5 hours every week. How many hours did Jim volunteer in 26 weeks? And so we're going to multiply. The weeks would cancel out. We take 26, we multiply it by 3.5, and we get 0 carried to 3, we get a 13, and then we get 18, and we get a 7. Add these up, we get 910, but, don't forget, move that decimal point over once, and you get 91 hours. Not 910, 91. Okay. 26 weeks he's going to volunteer for 91 hours. And there's our answer. Alright, great. A builder plans to build 34 new homes. 20 of the new homes will have 14 windows and 2 doors. 14 of the new homes will have 18 windows and 3 doors. The question is, first off, what's the total number of windows and the total number of doors needed for all the new homes? Okay. It's got 20 new homes that have 14 windows in each home. So we multiply, right? 20 homes, 14 windows in each home. So we multiply 20 times 14. We get 80, and then we get 20. We get 280. That's the windows for the 20 homes. Then the windows for the 14 homes. There's 18 windows in those 14 homes. And for that one, we get 252. So together, total number of windows, we add, and we get that there are 532 windows total. Now let's deal with doors. Well, 2 doors each for the 20 new homes. That's 40 doors. 3 doors each for the 14 new homes. That's 42 doors. Add those together, and we get that there are 82 doors total. Okay. Then at the bottom, the windows will be shipped in boxes of 2 windows each. Okay. We have 532 windows totally in total, and they're going to be shipped in boxes where one box has 2 windows in it. And so we're going to be dividing. We take 2 and divide it into 532. Goes into 5 twice. So bring down the 3. Goes into 13 6 times. Bring down the 1. Bring down the 2. That goes into 12 2 times. 266 boxes exactly. Make sure you always add your units on there. Circle your answer so they know what it is. Alright. And then finally, this last question, it's a two-part question. First off, we have this guy James, and he's walking dogs, and he's painting houses. He gets $6 for each dog. That he walks, and he gets $4 for each hour that he paints. And then there was this one week where he walked 5 dogs and he helped paint a house, but just for an hour. So he walked 5 dogs and he painted for 1 hour. And we multiply. And then we get that he makes $30 walking the dogs. And we get that he makes $4 painting the house for that 1 hour. The grand total of how much money he's earned would be to add. $34 total. The $30 from walking dogs and the $4 from painting, he made $34. Okay. And the same question. Now he wants to make $60, and we need to come up with a combination of the number of dogs he needs to walk and the number of hours he needs to paint to get exactly. He doesn't want to do more. He doesn't want to do less. He wants to get exactly $60. Okay. And we have to determine a combination. All right. So really, we're on our own. There is more than one answer to this, and so the better question is how, what are all the different types of answers? Give me all the answers that you could possibly do. One quick and easy answer is that he can, what do you make, $6 a dog? And you want to make $60? Well, just walk 10 dogs. We'll make $60 exactly. And then paint no houses. Don't paint. There's nothing to say that that can't be an answer. Okay. But if we want to make a combination of painting and walking dogs, then we just have to guess and check. There is a better way, but let's say just guess and check. If we wanted to know a better way, we got to think of all the multiples of 6 and all the multiples of 4. Okay. So we have 4 and we have 6. All the multiples of 4 and all the multiples of 6. So times 0, times 1, times 2, times 3, and so on. And we could go past 12 if we needed to. Multiples of 4, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Oops, did I skip something? No, I didn't. Okay. 28, 32, 36, and 40, 44, and 48. Multiples of 6, 0, and 6, and 12, and 18, and 24, and 30, and 36 and 42 and 48 and 54 and 60 and 66 and 72. We have to come up with combinations that add up to 60. And so the one combination we see is 60 from the dogs, 10 dogs, and no painting. That adds up to 60. Exactly. Okay. How else can we add up to 60? Well, we got to make combinations of these multiples of 6 and these multiples of 4. Okay. If he's gonna walk a dog, then let's see. Let's work backwards from 60. If he's gonna walk 9 dogs, that would be $54. And we need $6 painting, but we're going to say that he paints only complete hours. He doesn't paint half hours. Okay, but here we go. That's not going to work out. But here we go. $48 made by walking dogs, $12 made by painting houses. So he could do 8 dogs times $6 a dog and get $48, and then he could paint for 3 hours times $4 an hour and get $12, and that would add up to 60. That's another answer. Okay, and you can find more if the 6 and 6, 6 dogs and 6 hours. 6 dogs would be $36. 6 hours would be $24. You make $60 that way. He could do $24 dogs, and he could do with 24, 60 minus 24. Yeah, 36, that works out. He could do 9 hours painting, 6 dogs, and that would work as well. So there's more than one answer. And so, yeah. Let's go one more answer here. 12 and 48. He could walk 2 dogs and get $12, and he could paint for 12 hours and get $48, and that would add up to 60. They didn't ask us for all these. They just say one. Just give me one combination. So any of these would work. 10 dogs and no hours painting, 8 dogs and 3 hours painting, 6 dogs and 6 hours painting. That's a mistake. Oops. Yep. It's not 6 dogs here, it's 4 dogs. 4 dogs and 9 hours painting, or 2 dogs and 12 hours painting. These are the integer combinations. We're going to assume that he doesn't paint for half an hour or something like that. Alright, sounds good.